please continue. This is what we need. We need some lovely discussions about really cool
Here's
keyboards.
another board. Look at that one.
Okay, so now that we're started, we're live now. What is this? Show me.
That's a keyboard.
Oh wow, look at that one.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
my
not. I don't
go-to.
want to show mine now. I
It's
have
okay,
one
you
thing
have the
that's cool
printed
that I
keycap.
can show. Look
And I
at the
still have
custom
my new
keycap.
How did you get this from ASD keyboards?
No,
Or-
because the shipping was twice as expensive as the keyboard
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, understandable. As
Let me
always.
So
actually
you
push.
so you draw it? Did you draw it onto it? Like
No. I made an SVG that was exactly that, and I sent it to a guy on Etsy who is in the UK, and he
okay.
custom printed it for me, just one.
And he
And
die
it cost
subbed
me
it.
like-
Okay.
It's like $23 or something, and then he sent it to me for another 23, and then I had
Oh,
to pay import costs because it's UK, and I could have bought a new keyboard for just that one little key.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Anyways, doesn't matter. I'll make a quick tweet about the fact that we're live. Let's see if somebody feels like joining us.
Yeah, I'm also tracking some questions, if we have any.
Yeah, so I have a few here in the sidebar that I can just pop up like this,
Yeah.
and then we can chat about it. But some are like really stupid because I don't actually know them, know the answers, and you guys probably do. And so maybe what we can start with is you guys both show me what keyboard you're using right now, and then what it actually is. And then probably I have a ton of questions about that. So maybe Konstantin, how about you start?
All right. So, yeah, mine is basically ANSI. So it's a QWERTY ANSI. So which means that basically I have an enter key, which is not like big L-shaped like the
Oh, it's
French
just
one.
the small one, right? The thin
Yeah,
one.
the thick long one. Yeah, basically it's like some American classic that you'll find pretty easily. I don't have any kind of keycaps. I mean any kind of lettering on it, so it's just blank. And it's a HHKB profile also, meaning that basically I don't have a control key.
Okay.
Because I use basically caps lock for that. And yeah, it comes from Japan. It's pretty nice, pretty lightweight. It's like plastic.
Yeah, it's quite small actually.
I put some dampen in it. I put a custom battery in it. So basically I can use Bluetooth with it. It's not mandatory to be wired. Yeah, what else to say? So to start, this is not like using mechanical switches because this is Topre. So this is some kind of exception, let's say.
Okay.
So it's not like the best keyboard to showcase, actually.
So this is not actually a mechanical keyboard.
Yeah, it's part of the mechanical realm keyboard because, for example, you have your usual cherry switches. So, for example, any brown or tactile speed reds or whatever. But this is like on the other side because, for example, the old IBM keyboards got some buckling springs, which were basically like mechanical spring. And this is like Topre. So Topre, it's a mix between membrane and a mechanical switch with also some kind of spring, but it's not like metallic. So it's perfect because it's heavy and when you type on it. And at the same time, it's super smooth and it's silent. And the feeling is quite unique. You don't have a lot of Topre because you cannot build your own Topre. It needs to be like, I mean, you can buy a keyboard and then hack it, but it's not like you can buy any kind of case or PCB and switch and then mix it. So yeah, it's kind of an exotic underdog on that
exotic
aspect.
and underdog, but that's probably part of people love that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, and also it's like super affordable because it's like 300 euros new, and you can get it like.
You just
from
said it's
Amazon.
like 300. That's not cheap, right? Or is it?
But I mean, for mechanical keyboard, it's cheap still.
Okay. Good to know.
That's also a question we might get into later on because like if we talk about costs in a mechanical keyboard environment, we are totally out of reach for any normal customer when he buys a Logitech something.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
bought this like years ago. This is a Logitech gaming keyboard, and they say I think it's actually probably it has these fancy switches. It's blue something, I think, but this cost like $100.
Yeah.
And but is that worth it? Like, I don't like it actually. I'm not using it. I just put it here because we have this stream. So it's like, hey, I can show you this crappy thing. Is this like average quality? Is that good enough, or do you need to go higher and buy something fancy like you have, Konstantin?
It depends. I mean, I bought this one because I really wanted to try Topre. But at the same time, it's not like really mandatory because you can also go for a keyboard that is around 120 or 150. It's also totally feasible
Yeah,
because you have like the gaming brands, so Corsair or Logitech or whatever, and they are doing some keyboards that are mostly proprietary, meaning that you
yeah.
cannot really change the keycaps or mod it or flash it easily, or even sometimes not at all. And yeah, so I was just on a trip to Japan, and I thought, all right, let's bring some souvenir from Japan, and so I took that from there.
Oh
But I
wow.
bought this mainly because it's like super lightweight. It's plastic. It's not like one of the most expensive that you can have with full CNC the aluminum. So
Yeah.
for me, it's just like a nice to have. But you can also totally either order one or make one yourself for like 80 euros, maybe 120. So
Okay.
it's the same price as Logitech. But since you do that yourself, you could put like some better switches or put your own lube. I mean, your own keycaps, basically anything that you want. Yeah, it's just a matter of your budget. So one of the things to consider at first is, all right, so how at max can I put into a mechanical keyboard? That way, yeah, it helps quite a lot to like get a range of choices.
Yeah. So Janos, what are you rocking today?
I am. I can show you. I switched the camera and I have to
Yeah.
look around my cam to see where I can choose the next cam. Wait, I'm like,
It's
I'm
behind
like,
your screen somehow.
yeah, it's somewhere there.
There
There
it
we
is.
go.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So
That
what I
looks
have
pretty
here.
exotic to me.
Sorry.
It's pretty exotic looking.
It is and it is not because
Okay.
we all know the Logitech. No, it was the Microsoft ergonomic keyboard, which was also like a split design, but also like a big wave on
Yes.
your on
Back
your
in the
desk.
day, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and someone told you that it's so good to type on, but it was never, from my point of view, I could never type on it.
Ah.
So this is more like a Alice type layout. Some call it an Alice layout, but the original Alice layout, which has a history, had no arrow keys and also no macros on the side of it. So it's more like Arusi or I don't know. I didn't even know what's the other word for that. But it's, let's say, it an Alice typed layout, and it's as you see, kind of split in the middle. It
Yeah.
has double B's, so there's a B on this side and a
Oh.
B on this side.
Oh.
So you can type the B with either thumb you have. Also, the split spacebar, and it does something. It does that your hands move a little bit to the to another angle, so it is more comfortable to type. This one is called the Keychron Q8, and it came out around a week ago or so. I also did
Wow.
a video on that on my channel, and Keychron is supporting me and my keyboard stuff on my channel and sending me all the new keyboards in
Oh,
advance.
nice.
So
Oh,
that's a really,
dude.
really a really nice position where I'm in, that I have all those Keychron Q series boards and the K series boards at home to test
Yeah.
and to try and to see what it is like. So this is also a fully CNC body. So this is full aluminum. I did no modding on it, and modding is a big topic inside of mechanical keyboard stuff. Konstantin just said he did some tape inside of it. So you basically
Yeah.
the first thing you do, you put some tape on the back of the PCB, like on the plate itself, where the switches are on. You put some dampening tape
And
under
so
it,
that's
and
for
then
the
you can
sound.
also there's also something like a force brake, because on those fully CNC aluminum bodies you have like a top case and a bottom case, and you don't want to have the sound of the inside. So you do a force brake where you just put something in between the cases, so when you type on it, that there's no hollow sound like it is here. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
Dude,
there's
Yeah.
so many things to
so
consider.
many mods that you can think about that you can do with your keyboard. Yeah.
But you probably need like a more fancy keyboard to be able to take it apart like that and do that stuff, right?
Well, it's pretty easy to take these parts. Like if we're talking about mechanical keyboards, and mechanical keyboards normally, if they have gasket mount designs, which is another topic we should talk about. But here, like all those few screws, you just put out these screws and you can access everything.
Okay.
And the PCB and the plate are just sitting on top of the bottom case, and you can just take them out. It's pretty easy.
Hey, we're getting a whole bunch of comments, so I'm just putting them here. Oh, look at this. For the French people that speak French, they know this is a very nice message or very cheeky. Anyways, um,
I'm the lovely
yes,
Sherry, yes.
I thought so. Yes. My wife
But
still speaks Dutch
yeah,
to me, even though I live in France. Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
uh,
So basically, as this came out 1 week ago, I'm using this for a few days just to check if my muscle memory is doing what it needs to do and typing fast. But normally I am more on a classic design, and this is another one which just came out 1.5 weeks ago, I guess. This is from Akko, and this is like a more like the average design of a keyboard that you would think of. It's like a plastic design, and this is a ISO board with a big enter key. And I think this is 67. Konstantin, correct me if I'm wrong.
yep.
60s without error keys, like
I
doubling
mean,
it. And
this is basically a 10 kilos. Yeah,
yeah,
for people who
Oh,
are.
dude, there's so many questions. But before I start with my own, Alvaro actually had a good one, and that's more practical. Let's put it on the screen again. So, how are you dealing with recording and then the mechanical sound of the keyboard? Like, I personally just don't deal with it because I think it's fine. But
it
I
also
mean, right
depends.
now I'm just typing. I'm not sure if you can hear it,
no,
but
like yours is
yeah.
quite silent then.
So, and I don't have like any kind of EQs. So it's just like if you do it properly, if you do like the proper mods, then you'll get something really silent. And also you can like choose your switches. For example, I did this one, which is also like a 40%,
Oh
which is
wow, that's a
like to
working
use
keyboard.
only on the right hand. But this is like aimed to be like the most silent thing that you can ever get. So yeah, it's all comes down on what switch do you use. For example, Topre is really nice for something silent, and this is also one of the, I mean, one of the reason of why I went Topre. But of course, if you use like some clicky blues, yeah, it will be
Yeah, it's gonna
quite
sound.
noisy.
Yeah,
But
and so
this is also like the point of clicky. It's like to be
isn't it? Yes,
aware. So yeah.
because I'm wondering, like Janos, you put another one there. Let's say, because based on this, like if you're in a meeting and let's say you're doing something with the customer because you're a developer and you've been asked in some sort of meeting, and then you're frantically chatting to your colleagues about what they're saying in the Slack chat, and the customer will hear you typing rather than listening to them, right? So maybe just don't use a custom keyboard then.
I think that the more custom it gets, the more silent it will be.
Oh, really? Okay,
Not
that's
in, I mean, not when you're into gaming and or into clicky switches, but most of the people that I know that are into the keyboard game are more into like silent, make the board more silent, so it
okay.
will not be the click that you would imagine of the older IBM keyboards.
Mhm.
So what they sound like. So even if I put the microphone right on top of it, should
It's
not be.
it's not
Be too
crazy
loud.
loud. It's more like it's kind of nice, I guess. It sounds different than mine. Wait, let's try this one. Wait, I need to switch my camera. Let's see if that works. Right, so how does this sound? Wait, let's see. I'm destroying my mic doing this. I'm not sure. This is not as nice as yours, man.
Yeah,
Yours is smoother. We learn as we go. But I also. Oh wait, yeah. Konstantin, show yours.
So this is
I hear
some
nothing.
diamonds.
yeah. I think you are muted, Konstantin.
No. It's just really good.
No, just like that. Those are silence and looped, especially for silence purposes. So yeah, you can't really hear them.
Wow.
Maybe if I
A
mash
little,
them
just a little.
really, really hard. But yeah. So basically, anybody who's saying, "Oh yeah, but no, I prefer MacBook chiclet because it's silent." No, it's not silent. I mean, more silent than something that is aimed to be silent with proper switches, dampeners, modes, yeah.
When I type on my MacBook, even this newer M1 one,
Yeah.
when I type on it, you can actually hear it resonate in the bass, and that goes through the microphone still to the meeting. It's probably worse.
Mm.
Yeah, this is also why, for example, my mic have some kind of. I'm not sure. Yeah, I can probably show it that way, but you can also have some mount to dampen
Yeah.
it a bit,
Yeah.
and then also get basically a mat for your desk. That helps also.
There
And
you
of
go.
course, you'll get all the keyboard things. So, for example, if you have let's say if you have some aluminum, it may be a bit more noisy. So you may use polycarbonate. You can also choose the plate that you put, which is, for example, you have some keyboards which also are totally plateless, meaning that you don't have any kind of resistance. It's just like really smooth feeling, but at the same time, the feeling is not the same. But at the same time, as Janos said, it's more like a balance between, oh, this perfectly silent and you cannot hear it, and also the fact that you like the feeling of it, because usually when it's silent, it's a bit more dampened, and the feeling is a bit more mushy.
This is what I don't like exactly. So at least the person that's in the same room with you is really happy about it. So that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. And my partner also
Hey,
did
Lucy.
like her own keyboard. For example, she's really in love with Animal Crossing, SANH.
Oh, a lot of
So
my wife's the same. She's in like only Animal Crossing. I love that.
yeah, I can probably show it. Wait a few seconds.
Okay, so while he grabs that stuff, so I have a noob question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are mechanical keyboard keycaps all universal?
So yeah, for example, here you have some keycaps which
we'll
are
ask
totally
it in a
into
second.
Animal Crossing. You also have the Artisan, which is like a small key like Tim did, for example, with his face.
Yeah.
And so this is using Grandma's case, so which is also really lightweight and colorful. And yeah, it's not that hard to build because she did it herself. So I just gave some advice. But this is like 200 or maybe 250. One of the most expensive part were the switches. So as always, you can just get some cheaper ones if you like. But yeah, as you can see, you can totally customize it to your liking. And she also have like the Animal Crossing desk mat and
Oh no,
custom
she
cable.
goes full crazy. I love it.
Yeah, so so this is also why you get into mechanical keyboards. It's because you can really customize your liking. For example,
Exactly.
mine is really teal based because I love teal. But yeah, it really comes down to like your preference, and you have all the choice that is available. The only drawback is that you need to be like on ANSI layout, so like QWERTY-ish,
Yeah,
because
that's
of
the easiest I can imagine.
yeah,
Um,
because otherwise you get like only 5% of the remaining choices, because usually when people do make the keycaps themselves, it's pretty tricky to get like the whole broad spectrum of, oh yeah, so I want French and at the same time German keyboard and Nordic keyboard, because the most popular is still QWERTY with ANSI. So yeah.
yeah. So while you were walking away from your chair, I asked Janos like about all these key caps, right? So the caps itself, not the switches, are they all like universal? Does that all fit, Janos? Tell us more.
Well, basically yes, but no. So I will show you.
We may know.
I
That's a
will show you
very
something.
French thing to say,
So
dude.
when we talk about keycaps, there are two big parts that separates them from another, from each other. So there's the layout, the profile. So normally you are used to an OEM profile or maybe cherry profile. Cherry is another word that happens quite often when you talk about
Yeah.
mechanical keyboards. And so this is also like the cherry stem, like a cross stem. And basically, if you have this cross stem inside of your keycap, it should fit to most of the key switches that you normally have. Like when you see these ones, these are Phantom Reds from Gateron. These are the Holy Panda X, the other side. So they all have this stem on top of it, where you can put the keycap on top of it.
And so most of them have this, right? So I can generally get any sort of type of keycap and put them on these kind of switches.
Yeah. Well, you have to think or be aware of. Normally, we have 3-pin key switches or 5-pin switches. So the top, if you have the cross stem and you have the normal keycaps, that fits. If you have something like the first mechanical keyboard, which I started with, blame me, Sharkoon, and this is Kehl switches,
Oh, wow, that's different.
and this is a really different type of keycap where you should I never saw any other keycaps than the original ones to put on it. So this is
Oh,
really
dude,
really bad to buy something like this and think of modding it.
because
It's
I
hell.
actually just realized I took a keycap of that what do you call this Logitech
That
keyboard that I
no
have, and
name Logitech
look what's
board,
behind.
yeah.
It's a membrane, right? Yeah.
Oh no! So I even if I wanted to, I couldn't do anything with this shit. But it's all good. Okay, so
Also, I just want to say that, for example, if you get a Logitech or Corsair board, usually you also have like some proprietary control and command or alt
mhm,
sizes, meaning that, for example, the usual one is like 125 and then 125, 125. But yeah, Corsair likes to make it like 175 or 150, and so you cannot swap them easily. So that's why
okay.
also going custom is pretty nice.
All right. So now that we spoke about all these, like, so let's for easiness sake say they're quite universal because we all just
Yeah.
go with this style. It's cool. Just don't go with the crazy ones. Sometimes it's cool, but um, so now you have keycaps have different styles, right? Because when I bought my
Profiles.
keyboard,
Yeah.
it had oh I forgot, but I when I typed on it, they were too close together and too high, and I just had fat fingers all the time.
Yeah.
And then I asked Janos, what do I do? And he said, buy these other ones. And now there's like, and then I looked at it. Okay, there's like so many different ones. So, Konstantin, for what are the different ones that we can use?
Basically, the most common one that you'll get is like cherry one. So those,
I
for
think that's
example,
what
are
I
not
have now.
those are not cherry, but those are still like kind of low profile
Yeah.
switches, keycaps. I really don't like low profile, so that's why I prefer like something really tall. So I'm not sure if you can see that
Yeah, yeah.
well,
So these are
but
a little bit more pyramid like. right?
Yeah, because cherry are pretty much like a small upside curve, but you get like really steep ones, and you get bumpy ones. But yeah, there are basically two things for the keycaps. You have the texture itself, so it can be ABS, like the one that Janos just showed before,
Yeah.
his first one. It's pretty much like ABS because you can hear it, you can see it. It's cheap, it's thin,
Okay,
and
and it's really
it's
low, right?
greasy. Yeah, it's also that the noise is not that great because if it's thin, it will be really high pitched. While if you get something really heavy and thick, it will be like really nice and dampened sound. For example, I really like PBT. So PBT is like more a textured one, more like that you'll get, I don't know, like in buses or like really hard plastic. And yeah, and the other one, as you said, is like profile. So you'll get low profile, or you can even get like flat profiles. So for example, on a
Wow.
MacBook, you
Oh
have a
yeah,
chiclet
exactly.
keyboard, so it's like no profile at all. While usually when you have your traditional keyboard, you'll get something like which is like going up, so going up like that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
um,
Like I think
I mean,
Janos, you,
there
you
is
probably
like,
have them on this. Oh,
so this is probably like a PBT UM or Cherry by the looks of it, by the light on it.
it
Um,
it feels like quite similar to what I have. I think it might even be
yeah,
similar. So,
yeah, it
I
may
mean,
be.
the profile of these the caps is OEM. This is not Cherry. This is
Yeah,
oh,
OEM.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what is the difference between the OEM and the cherries?
So Cherry are basically a little bit lower,
Okay.
and the difference, like when we talk about low profile, these are the ones from the Shakun. This is
Yeah.
the same letter. This is Q. So here's U from the same row with this is DSA. DSA is on every row there's the same flat design, so you have no profile which is going like a curved style, like
Ah,
the
yeah.
first row is a little bit higher. So DSA and also XDA is the same height on every single row of the keyboard, so you don't see anything that is going up or downwards here.
So this
Then
is
we
called
have,
the non-sculpted profile,
yeah,
basically all flat.
and
Yeah.
here you can see how it's more sculpted when I go into the OEM
Hmm.
way. This is like this Q, and then we have ASA or ASA, and you see how it's a little bit more sculpted and also even a little bit higher than the other one. So ASA is more on the high profile, and there are so many people that like high profile keycaps.
Yep.
For me, it's nothing too good. I like cherry profile. I thought I liked flat profiles like DSA or XDA, but when you start typing and and like feel what's the difference in your typing speed and how your fingers and your muscles react to the profile, I would say there are not as many people that like the flat profile than like cherry or OEM.
Okay. Yeah. For me, I had I think the ones you have now on the keyboard that I bought from Keychron, and I kept making mistakes all the time. And then you told me to go with these cherry ones that are slightly different, and now it's about 50 times better for me, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
50%.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I go even lower, if it's better for me, but probably not. It's more like my fingers just never reach the key at the same place. And if they're too close together, I just miss and then I have fat fingers. And so I might need like a smaller side on the top to like maybe more like this. That might be better for me. I don't know.
This is like total what is it? DSA. It's
It looks
DSA,
crazy and funny at the same
and
time.
it's
Pretty
also a
good.
really low keyboard. It's a Nufi Air 75, and this is a really flat profile. Like there's nothing to it when you look from the side. Oh, that's too much light there.
Yeah, yeah, your
So
camera cannot.
um, but they have a really small footprint on the top of it. that makes it more space between the caps, which makes it
Yeah.
more easier to know where you are if you're blind typing, like I am normally. So
Yeah.
normally I don't care about the legends. That's why I also like the blank one that Konstantin showed us.
Oh yeah,
But
it's
normally
pretty crazy.
I am the German guy, so I need my Ü and my E and my Ö,
Maybe the umlaut.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
all the
words
weird umlauts. Yeah.
and
So basically, I am going with ANSI.de or ISO.de. But no, also I don't care when you look at this one. It's the US layout,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
yeah, as I don't look onto the keyboard while I'm typing, I don't care what's on top of it.
Wow.
Yeah,
There's so
something
much to unpack.
that you may consider is really learn how to touch type. So basically,
Yeah.
just put the finger on the small knobs, because on your finger on your keyboard you have your two keys, so G and K, which have some little nibs. And so the main idea is to put your index on it and then move uh, as close as possible, and to do like less movement by just thinking, all right, so my finger, my right pinky, for example, will reach for the enter key, or for, yeah, I don't know, for P. And
I'm
also
trying
I
now. This
would,
is going to be terrible.
yeah, it's pretty hard at the beginning, but if you get used to it, you stop looking at your keyboard and you will get less fatigue overall, and you'll type faster.
Yeah, I'm
So
going to
yeah,
need to
the
practice.
idea is to always stay on the home row. So this is like your
The middle row, right?
yeah,
Like this.
yeah. And then this is where like the profile comes in, because depending on what do you prefer, sometimes something sculpted, which is really high, will be quite helpful. But some people also prefer flat. It also depends of the angle of your keyboard, if you like it really tilted or not. I
Yeah.
like 8 to 12 degrees, which is pretty high. Most people are fine with something like that, which is
Yeah, I have
apparently
pretty
totally
high also, I
flat.
think. It's hard to say.
Yeah, this is probably 6 or 8 degrees. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's lower than, yeah.
but yeah, it's really like personal preference.
Yeah, it's so what is that keyboard then? That looks fancy as well.
This one is the Apple Maker B21, and this has the ASA profile, so you can see like the bottom row is so much lower than the other ones. And then it
Oh,
goes high and even higher on the top, so it goes like a wave up there. Yeah.
and so guys, Lucy just asked a question, or not really a question, but like
Yeah.
she's like, I cannot live without full size.
So
And
why can't you live
maybe that's
without?
because we're just developers. I use numbers a lot. I went for 96%
Uh,
myself, so I have the
no,
pad. So guys,
this
tell
is
me.
not a good reason. This is not a good answer. Sorry
Okay,
to.
tell me more.
Because, for example, on my keyboard, as you can see, I have like my 3 rows of letters, and then the one on the upper side is just like numbers. So
But
you
if you're in
may wonder,
ASCII,
oh,
you're
so
lost with this, right? You need to be QWERTY, otherwise it's going to be a mess.
no, this is not related to
Because you're going to have to
ANSI
do
or ISO.
shift and then a number to get
Yeah,
the number.
so usually, for example, if I need to press like F10, I just use my pinky here for my function key, and
Okay.
then I go F10. And so as you can see, I don't move a lot.
No,
I
no,
just
exactly.
do that. It's better than moving your whole hand and reach like an F10 key.
Mhm.
So I can do pretty much everything that you can on a full-size keyboard, just by the fact that I have a layer. And this is also like one thing that you can get with custom keyboards, is that you can put some layers. So either you can hold the key, or you can even toggle the key, or you can even play it like a piano. This is coming from the fact that since it's your own custom keyboard, you can also customize the firmware and the software in it. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
not
there's a
even
whole new
like
world.
it's not even like you need to install some stuff on your OS. It's just that you can put it into the memory of the PCB itself, and then it will work accordingly to your settings.
Oh
So, for
wow.
example, Lucy says, "Oh yeah, so this like for Excel when you have a lot
Yeah,
of
I was going to
numbers."
say, does this kind of comment pain our hearts as keyboard enthusiasts? Because you do Excel, so you need.
It
I
I
guess
mean,
it works.
it also does something to you, which is quite awesome, because there are also, if we talk about layout and what some people are missing, it's normally the F row and the numpad.
yeah,
Because when I
Yeah.
take the F row and the numpad away, I have something like this. I like to have my separate arrow keys still, but I
Mm.
don't need an F row. I don't need anything else. And some people say that they need the full layout, so they need the full keyboard, which would be something like this. Let me show you.
So,
And
Konstantin,
I don't
again,
think
how
the
much
camera is
for
even
this
big
effect?
enough for
yeah,
this.
Holy shit!
yeah.
So
It
this
fits
is
barely.
the Keychron Q6, and this is a full size keyboard. And what my biggest issue with full size is, even if I would need the numpad all the time, the angle where I could reach my mouse, if I'm working a lot with my mouse, my arm gets more and more angled. So that's really inappropriate to use your mouse like that. So that's why
Um,
I say I don't need the numpad.
you
But
see,
it
there's someone who
has
likes
also,
this.
That's also why
but
you have some keyboards where you have the numpad on the left side.
Oh, I've
This
seen
also
that as
exists.
well.
yeah, but also, so if you're really into the administrative work, the keyboard game got you covered, because there are also mechanical numpads
Oh
that you can have.
no, I'm gonna
So they
spend
have
some
their
money.
own USB Type C. They are full customizable. They have hot swap switches and all the crazy stuff. And what I do, if I have to work with the numpad a lot and I have to type numbers a lot, I just put keyboard, mouse, and then numpad next to it. And that
Ah,
gives me the position to have my mouse on the right angle and still use my numpad when I need to. Because no one that uses the numpad on a daily basis can tell me that they use it like every single minute of the day. It's
Yeah,
like getting
and
rid
also
of the stuff you don't need.
you can also totally like press a key and change your keyboard into like a full numpad, but still
oh
staying on the
yeah.
home row. As I said, like with QMK, you can mode it as you'd like, and that way you don't even need to hold the key, for example. So there is like QMK, which is like this kind of software. I
Oh,
mean,
you
this
made
is
the
like
perfect bridge. Tell us what
the,
QMK is.
this is like an open source project that basically you can flash your PCB and put like a lot of features. One of the main one is like layouts, layers. So this is, as I told you, like either you hold the key or you can toggle it. Um, but you also have a lot of auto completion, for example, or any kind of hold this key and this will do something else. You can even play music. You can like really have a lot of stuff. For example, this keyboard that I showed before, you have a knob, for example, so you
Yeah.
can also like custom it as you like. There are also people who put some kind of some kind of um, um, I don't know the name. For example, you know, like on ThinkPads, you have this red dot, which is like
Oh
a
yeah, exactly.
joystick,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, yeah.
you can also like map the joystick to a specific behavior or move your mouse with it. Even if, yeah, most of the time people just like use keyboard to move around and. But
I
yeah,
kind of
this is
wonder.
like pretty
Like,
limitless. And so even if you
yeah.
say, all right, so I need my numpad, yeah, but you can have your numpad on your keyboard with just like a toggle and that's all.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it almost
Yeah, a
feels like if
nipple.
you.
I'm not sure if it's like YouTube safe to say nipple, but yeah.
Yeah, let's call it nipple. Oh yeah, and actually Lucy says this. That it actually is called the nipple. I think
Yeah.
it's true. I
Yeah.
used to own a ThinkPad back in the day, and these were indestructible. They were pretty great.
I still have two of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nice.
still have
They
one.
are indestructible.
I have one later on when it became Lenovo, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Lenovo ThinkPad basically, and they still have the best keyboards on a laptop as of today.
Yeah, really good.
Even if you type on the M1, which is okay-ish, it's still better than the keyboard from 2016
Oh
and
yeah,
Edison.
that's like I had a
Uh,
MacBook from
eh,
2019, a relatively thin one, and after 4 months, the A button just stopped, and
Yeah.
the caps lock was always stuck. Like
Yeah.
these ridiculous things.
I had to change the keyboard on my 2000 and what was it? Yeah, also the newer keyboard. There was a new, but the old chiclet style keyboard on the MacBook. I had to change the keyboard 2 times, and it was
Awesome.
always the F key. I don't know why, but it was
Oh,
always the F.
really?
Yeah. That's
So,
Yeah,
stop
he's
guys,
searching a lot in his code base, or pressing a lot of respect, like.
yeah, lots of apps. So,
Yeah.
guys, what do you think of this? Wait, let me zoom in. Is this something that's cool to buy? It's a little expensive, I think, but I'm not
Oh,
sure if
it's
that
okay.
It's not so expensive for a fully
Yeah.
assembled one with
exactly.
the knob. With
It's
the
all
knob.
gone, and it has
Yeah.
the knob.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually need the F row. Like the last time I used the F row is to put up my volume on the MacBook
Mm.
or like on my Mac, right? So, and now it doesn't even say it. It says F12. I don't care. And so maybe something
So
like this
what
could
are the
work.
switches mainly? Like brown,
This right
cherry?
now, I think it's Gateron
Gatron
G
brown. Okay.
Brown. Okay, so now that we're on here,
If
give me the.
it's not your first keyboard, I would go to the bare bone
Oh,
and
really? And then do
add
your own thing.
add your switches and your keycaps. Yeah.
You know what? I might actually do it because I now have one that's proper. I enjoy it, but it's not. It's. I now know what I don't like, but I don't know what I do like. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I'm gonna have to learn this. So I would maybe get, but this size I like.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the arrow keys are slightly separated, because if you look at wait, this keyboard that I have now, let me just make this big so you can see it. Like this is the wrong choice. You see that the arrow keys are completely connected to all the others.
That's the K4, right?
This is the K4, so it's a 96% keyboard. I'd never tried that before.
Yeah.
And I just bought it because I thought I could buy it. And it's like, okay. And I always miss. So because I'm not used, because before I had a full one or I had a laptop one. And so I'm always like one button to the right too much. So I feel like if this is actually separated a little bit, you have some context switch to that is better. So
I mean, if it's separated, it's always better to feel where your
exactly.
where the normal letters end and where the arrow keys start. I also have a Q2. I lended it to a friend of mine for a few days because he was.
You're not going to get it back.
I will get it back, but he was very amazed by the keycaps, which was the Morse set from Keychron.
Okay.
And also from the they have Akku Matcha greens looped inside of it, which is a linear style, really dampened, really smooth linear switch, and he really liked it. And he was like, "Okay, can I have this for a few days?" And yeah.
Okay, guys, how about we just fill my shopping cart here? So should I go with ISO knob or normal? I don't. What is the difference here?
So
ISO, you have the big enter key. The
yeah,
big enter
but
key
it's,
and two more
but
keys
it's
on the left.
ISO knob. So does it change? What does it
So
mean?
if I go to ISO, it doesn't actually have an assembled one with ISO, I think.
Yeah, but ISO is basically like this, right?
Oh,
You
the
have
big
the
enter.
you
but
have the
here
big
it
enter key and
says
you have here another
ISO
key.
knob. So is it like a French knob, like some baguette cheese?
No, the knob is the knob is just the knob on top right that you can.
Oh yeah, you
but I
can
mean,
see.
what's the difference between like? Oh no. Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
You see
So,
here,
yeah.
the enter is big
It's
here,
ISO and okay, and knob. Okay.
and then
But
here it's small.
can you get it without the knob also?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can just go bare bone like this without the
Oh
knob.
yeah. Okay.
So what does that look without the knob? It's just an insert button.
Yeah.
It seems.
It's a key. It's a normal key.
Yep.
Yeah. Like when they sold the. Let me get.
I think I like the knob because then I can.
If you look at the Q1, which I have here, the Q1, they
There's the focus.
So this is the version without a knob, but
Oh,
this
nice.
was a version where they put my name on a special plate.
No, look at this guy.
Yeah.
I love it. So instead of the knob, you have your name. How about that?
Yeah. And I can switch the plates. I can also take the plate off and put a switch in it. I think I have to do some soldering for that. but I can do a switch on it, and they're also like really technically more capable human beings that can also insert a knob into it. But yeah, that's
Oh
not.
yeah, but it's probably some sort of, oh, I don't know. Anyways, okay. How can I put this on the screen?
Maybe,
No.
I mean, what I would recommend is basically also trying to figure out what kind of style do you want at the end. Like maybe find some specific keycaps. And so we can also touch on that aspect, because usually keycaps you can either buy some cheap ones from any kind of Chinese website, or you can
Yeah.
also like join a group buy and then get something really custom to your liking. So yeah, maybe give a try also to like some keycaps that you really like. So the profile, the
Yeah.
texture of it, and also the colors or the theme. This could
Yeah.
be a
Let's
great
just
start also.
maybe for now let's stay in here and see if we can actually filter on certain things. But I'm not
Yes,
sure if we can.
search for the Morse set. Yeah, there's a search. Yeah,
Like this?
yeah. No, Morse, like Morse.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Yeah, because that's the one that I have on my Q2, and it's half transparent,
Yeah.
and
It
it
looks
looks
really
really
fancy.
nice on top of it. Really nice, and it's actually the Morse code that's printed on top of it.
Oh, so it actually has the Morse code on it?
Yeah,
Yep.
Look at
That
this
way, if you're
fanciness,
lost,
guys.
you can send an SOS.
and they are half transparent. So if you scroll down, I guess you can see it from the side. Otherwise, I have to share a picture from my board.
No, oh wait, you can probably see it a little
No, you can
here.
scroll down. I guess if they show it somewhere down there.
Oh,
Yeah, here you
well,
can see they are half transparent. So
so
even the
if
back.
you have light in your keyboard, you can see that come through nicely.
Yeah,
Look at this. That's pretty cool.
it looks really nice. Yeah, and also the haptics are really good. It's really smooth on top.
I just don't like the color scheme for me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
just
this is a personal thing. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, what is the? Look, I have a K4. I can actually just get this now and put it on. That's cool. So, what kind of keycap type is this? So is this is like the cherry one or?
this is
OEM. You see it on
Okay,
top.
so the one higher than I have now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So maybe you can Google for keycaps profile on Google and check all the photos of it. That may
Yeah, you
help
mean
you a
this
bit.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for example. Yeah. So the first thing will be like to find out what do you prefer? Something flat, something low, something high.
So what I've learned is that the OEM one, I had fat fingers with it for sure. That was not for me. And
Maybe
now I have
change
these
your
cherries.
fingers. Then.
I'm just bad at typing. That's
Yeah,
just
but
one
I
thing
mean, fat
that's sure.
fingers. This will not really be solved with a keycap. I mean, there are some keycaps which are hemispherical and other that are cylindrical, meaning that
Yeah.
rather than your finger just being inside of it, it will kind of be embraced by the key. So maybe
Hmm.
this can help. So those, for example, are MT3 profile. But those are a bit harder to find.
Harder to find, yeah, I guess. Because the ones that I've seen on these I think maybe, I don't know which one it was. I think it was on this one. Like these keys seem to
Yeah.
be easier for me to use. I
They
tried.
This is the development of Keychron. This is called the OSA profile.
So it's
Which,
special for them.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's still universal. I think looking at the mapping seems totally legit. Yeah. I mean, it's not Logitech or Corsair or whatever
No,
gaming
exactly.
brand.
But
So
it's
I
so
mean, the worst keyboard that you can get is probably from Razer. If you don't pick a gaming one, it will be okay. Anyway, so yeah, don't sweat it too hard on the brand. Just go like to
no,
those
exactly.
websites and should be okay.
Yeah, so maybe
Maybe
that's a
I can give a word on the keycaps because there is
yeah,
like
sure.
something really exotic in the hobby. Meaning that, for example, I just received a pack of keycaps just like a few days ago,
Okay.
but I've ordered it in 2020. So
Whoa.
it's basically like 24 months. And so this is just to explain how the hobby works. So for example, depending of the type of profile that you like and the colors, basically, yeah. Let me maybe find it. But yeah, if you have really specific profile, which is maybe new or which is kind of exotic or with some colors, then you can get like pretty sad. I'll send that in the chat for people who want to know which one I'm talking about. But basically, what is a group buy? This will be something where you can say, "Oh, all right. So I am interested by this actual um, key set," meaning
Yeah.
that if enough people are interested, so you get an interest check, and then you get a group buy, and then you have a few weeks to join, and say, "All right, so I want this one," and then you pay. And maybe 1 year or two after, you will receive your keycaps. So this is a bit
Whoa.
scary, but people in the Mac keyboard community are really serious about this, and so they may
Okay.
have some delays regarding, oh, so we have some mold issues, or we have some technical issues, or maybe we changed some colors because those were not good enough. And so they are really trying to nitpick the quality over like quantity or just speed delivery. So
Yeah.
it was the same for my partner because, for example, you cannot go like to your Home Depot or whatever place and just get like one really custom like Animal Crossing. So usually for that you just need to look what is available and then join a group buy. But if you miss it, you can always go to secondhand market. So
Oh
there
wow.
is like this mechanical keyboard Reddit where there is a lot of people who are selling secondhand keyboards, keycaps, PCBs, a lot of stuff. Um, so yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is take your time to find the one that you like. If it's
Yeah.
available straight away, perfect, just go for it. But if you want a profile maybe a bit more exotic
Mm.
or a bit more fancy, yeah, just take the time to go to websites like Geek Hack, or a lot of Discords also have those kind of things where you can just see what is available as of a specific given time and then join, and then you'll get your really fancy keycaps at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's
Really
pretty nice.
fancy. Oh, here. So let's put this one on. First, it's
Yep.
mechanical keyboard, then it's individual artisan keycaps, and then it's bankrupt. I
Yeah,
so
also.
could not agree more. Like, here, wait, let me show this one. So I bought this keyboard and then I didn't fully like it, and then Janos helped me. And then I went to this. Oh, where is it? Here. So I went to this guy and then I wanted my own. Like he can actually buy it. This is pretty cool what he has. So you can get this kind of stuff. And he just prints it at home himself. I don't know how he does it. But then I
Yeah,
spent so much money on this. And I don't even have a fancy keyboard. I just have one that I changed a little bit. So
Mm.
yeah, it's kind of interesting to see how deep you can go, because we didn't even talk about, like, for example, what I wanted to know as well is, so if I had to change one thing on a keyboard, like my first like customization, which one actually makes the biggest difference?
sorry, about what? What
Yeah,
do
Yeah,
you
so
mean?
sure. Yeah.
if you want to do a keyboard mod, yeah, maybe Janos, you
Yeah,
can go there.
lube,
Like if I wanted to do one, which one makes the biggest difference for maybe
lube,
sound or feeling? Or
all
none of
day.
it.
Yeah, 100% lube your keyboard. This will make the biggest difference ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in terms of feeling and also in terms of sound. And then probably put a mat. Yeah, those are
Yeah, so
like
the
the
foam thing
two
on the
biggest
inside is
things.
probably the easiest to do, I guess.
Yeah, or you can put a sticker, which is like the $2 hack. Yeah. I mean, there are some. There is like this mod tap, which is basically putting a piece of tap between your PCB and your key and your switch.
Yeah.
So this is pretty nice. I also have a blog post on how to make it properly.
Oh, I will read that
But
for sure.
this is really like not that difficult, but it all comes down, as you can see here. For example, here we have a piece of foam. I'm not sure of the exact type of it, but this will help reduce the sound. You also have brands like Rama Works who are doing like really specific and made for specific case. So yeah, it's really like diverse. So
Yeah. So, Konstantin, I noticed as well. Like we just got a quick comment. Your mic is a tad lower than us.
yeah, so now it's a bit higher.
There we go.
Um, I
It's
guess it's
still a
okay.
bit lower, but it's okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be too noisy, but yeah, if it's okay, tell me.
Yeah, it's fine, I
Otherwise,
guess.
okay.
Well, we'll ask the chat in a sec. So, Janos, did you make this foam yourself? It looks like tape to me.
This is not a foam. This is just tape. So this is just basic tape that I put onto it. So as you can see here, these are just like
Yeah.
2 layers of tape right on top of the PCB. So this is what a PCB looks from downside, where you can see where all the switches go into,
Oh,
and
and
you
the little
basically
lights as well.
put the tape on top of it to dampen the sound a little bit.
And this is just painter's tape, right?
Sorry.
This is just painting tape, I
This is
guess.
just painting tape, yeah. Some swear on a blue tape, but I don't care about the color of the
Oh
tape.
my god, we can go so deep in the type of tape you
Yeah.
use in the
Yeah,
keyboard.
you
And
you
so,
can also
y-
get like really absorbent matte. I mean, you also have like a lot of polyurethane or whatever materials. It's like for the sound. If you want to get a silent room, you get like a million of materials. So it's pretty much the same for the keyboards.
Wow. And so I can imagine, Janos, when I look at this, that this company already put some of that dampening in, because that's what people want. So why is it not there? Why do you
well,
have to?
there are two things. This is a gasket mount. So what you can see here is are the gaskets that like
Yeah.
a small foamy, sticky stuff that separates the plate and the PCB from the rest of the case. And it also adds some flex to your typing. So
Ah, okay.
when you push onto the key, it does some flex because the foam is doing its thing,
And
right?
is that what you want generally or not?
There are people that they like as much flex as they can get, and there are people that more like it's like mechanical keyboard and all the stuff that we talk about is pretty much what you yourself want or need or feel that you want. It's
Hmm.
always a personal thing. If someone asks what's the best keyboard and you ask 100 people, you should for sure get 100 different answers.
Oh my god. Yeah, and this is also one thing I'm considering now. Like, okay, let me just try something, but I guess I have never felt it before. And so then you buy like expensive stuff, and then you might not like it, and you just have to buy something else. Or are there like now that Corona is a little bit better, you just go to some keyboard con and just to feel all the
Yep.
keyboards?
Yeah. Speaking of that, there is one on the 3rd of September in France, in Paris.
Oh.
So if some people are interested, you can join this. I'll send it in the chat.
Oh, please do.
And so there
I
you
need an
can go.
excuse to come to Paris.
Yeah, and then there you can go and like try basically like I don't know 200 or 300 various keyboards and switches, and I mean there will be like 500 people like Janos and me there,
Oh no.
just like sharing their crazy builds, and this is like the perfect place because, as you'd say, if you buy something and you're not really happy with it, yeah, you're kind of screwed. Otherwise, there is also like the second way. You can open a Twitch channel and just ask people to send you their own parts, and then you build them, and then you
Ah,
can try them and send it back for them. So you'll get sometimes. I mean, there are people doing that for free when you start, but then you can also put a small commission on it. But yeah, it all depends of the build and the price.
mm,
And I mean, for example, if you get like the chance of being able to build a keyboard for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 thousand euros, yeah,
holy
it's
crap, that
okay,
exists.
to not get a commission on it, because you have the chance of building itself and also
Mm.
trying various stuff. Maybe you'll fall in love with it and you'll want the same, or maybe you'll say, oh, this is the this is like super bad, I don't want that. So yeah, it also helps quite a lot. This is
Yeah.
how I went into this hobby. At first, I was like, all right, so this seems amazing by watching on YouTube. But yeah, you can't feel the video.
Yeah.
So
No, that's the
yeah,
thing, right?
just
Because
go to
I
Meetup
was
now that COVID is over.
I
It's
was quite
also
disappointed.
when I started the mechanical keyboard game from my side, I found out that the ISO DE keycaps are very rare, but there are so many Germans looking for it, and they're like, okay, you have black on white and white on black, and maybe some colors from Corsair keycaps,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. So I started a keyboard community, and we are now over 417 people, I guess, in the Telegram group, and we are only talking about keyboards and keycaps and all the stuff. And we also have a vendor in the chat, I guess. Kehl Keyboards is one
Yeah.
of is a
Yeah.
small company from Germany, and they are doing ANSI DE keyboards,
Oh,
and
nice.
they pre-modded. So what you get is a pre-modded, fully functional, perfectly sound dampened keyboard. They also sent two of them to me for testing purposes, and I sent it back. So I'm not fully sponsored. I love that manufacturers send me keyboards for testing. So I am in a very good position to have all the different switch styles and keycap styles and
Yeah.
keyboards and layout and sizes, everything here. And within the community, I also lend out keyboards like the Q2 or like the K8 Pro to other people from the community, and they send it around. So some of my keyboards are all around Germany just for testing purposes, and that's what you really need, because sometimes you need to feel the keyboard. That's what Konstantin said just now. You need to feel it to know what you want.
Especially because some people may think, all right, so I want to buy those switches, for example, but I'm not sure of which one to take. And so you can get those boards of 50 switches in a row, which are all different, and you can type on
Oh,
it
wow.
and being like, oh, this is great, or oh no, this is bad. But this is not relevant at all, because if you don't have a whole keyboard of those switches, you will not get the whole spectrum of the
No,
feeling.
exactly. You need more
So
than a
this
few
like,
switches to
yeah,
feel it, right?
this is
Yeah.
like a fake solution basically.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
because
also why switch testers are so important, to
mm,
see what kind of switch you are up to, because they're box switches, as you see here. So the cross is boxed, which
mm,
also makes a little bit different sound. And there are like clear caps, which is good if you have an RGB, or if you're an RGB type of guy, you should look for switches that let the light through.
yeah,
Because red switches like these ones are always in a red tone, no matter what
yeah,
RGB you put
exactly.
into that. And
Mm,
here's another one which is really dark, so it darkens it out a little bit if you use RGB. And then it's like the switch game. Every single switch is different, and I would say, from my experience, what I bought switch wise, the Aqua Kings V3, which is this one, it comes pre-lubed. You don't have to do anything to it. It sounds really good, and it's a really linear feel. It's not too strong, it's not too weak, so it's a really nice in between anything, and
and
it sounds really, really good.
so, quick question: shouldn't all of these switches come looped? Isn't that like, or do some people not
It,
like that?
yeah, it depends. First off,
Ah,
because not all companies are doing that well. Some, for example, may use some machines which are automating the process,
Okay.
but these have the risk of, oh, there is too much or not enough, and then you'll get a whole batch of like
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
inconsistent loop, so it doesn't really help at all. And also, this is also a personal preference, as always, because you have various loops. You can get like some oil, or you can get some grease, or you can have a mix. And even
Mm.
if you choose a grease, you have, I don't know, like 15 types of grease. And it also depends of the switch, because if it's linear or if it's tactile, um, yeah, as you can see there.
Oh, there you
And
go.
it also depends on the state of your switch, how you used it, the exact type of it. So yeah, some brands tried it, but usually it's not that good.
Yeah, so
For
people
example,
tend to want to do it themselves.
no, I mean, if you're doing that yourself, it's not that hard. The only rule that you need to follow and to understand is the less, the better. That's all. You
Mm.
really don't need to overload. Otherwise, yeah, it will be super annoying to remove. It will be counterproductive, and it will just ruin the whole feeling experience.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a lot of work still. There are services where you can send your switches to, and they
Yep.
loop it for you, like like the way you want it, and it normally works. But it's also an expensive service, because on every single switch you need, like, or you should work with a switch opener, just like this one, and you put the switch on top of it, and then you just push it down. Let me check this way.
Don't break your switch.
No, no, no.
Oh, you
So you
cannot
just
break it.
push it down, and then
Oh, there you go.
it opens up. So you have the top case of the switch, and you need to put it somewhere. Then you have the stem itself. Show it that
Yeah,
way.
there it is.
So this is an MX style kind of
Yeah.
stem.
Then you
Yeah.
have the spring. As this is a tactile switch, you see another part of it here, which is this metal plate, which
Yeah.
does the tactile thing, the bump in between from top to bottom. There's a little bump, and then there's the bottom case. Yeah, and you normally loop with a small what is it called, like cosmetic
Yeah.
thing, and you just loop
You
it
just do a little bit and that's it.
on the side parts on it, just where
And
the
there,
actual movement is, but you don't want to have the metal plate here somewhere
but
greased.
there
Or,
it also depends of your preference, as
sure,
always.
Okay.
For
yeah,
example, I like really to loop everywhere. I mean, in the good spots, but not too much. And so it takes me a bit more time. But you can also be a bit more messy, for example, because people tend to also loop the springs. But there are some hacks because you can put the springs into a bag of
into a
loop
bag,
and
yeah,
just shake it.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are really a lot of various approaches. But for example, my partner did that, and for her first time, she spent 5 hours on 68 switches.
Oh
And
boy.
basically, you can do that every year or so when you feel like you need it. So it's not like something that you need to do like every week. So yeah, it depends of the amount of keyboards that you have and that you want to do also.
Wow. There's so much to unpack. I love it actually. It's good learning. And I have to be careful that I don't fall into the trap and never come out again.
Yeah, it's too late. You're gonna need
I'm
to
already
sell
in,
your
to be honest,
house and
Yeah.
car. Yeah, too
because
late.
I'm gonna probably like buy another keyboard after this stream, but then buy everything separated and then build it myself on the
Yeah,
next stream.
yeah, exactly. If there is one thing to get out of this live is, yeah, just build your own custom keyboard because it's not difficult. You have a lot of tutorials, especially now because 2 or 3 years ago there wasn't like as much content on Mac keyboards. Now it's like super blooming. Everybody is talking about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you have a lot of nice content on YouTube and people doing that daily, pretty much. So you can just like
Wow.
see what they're doing. And yeah, you really cannot mess it too much. I mean, usually what you do is you buy maybe 2 or 3 more switches just to be sure. For example, if you bend the
Exactly.
pin, but that's pretty much all. You cannot
But
fry
yeah,
it. You cannot burn it. I mean, uh, there are some keyboards that you need to solder, but this is not mandatory. You can also have hot swap keyboards. So yeah, just do it yourself. It will be cheaper, more custom, and a lot of fun. And yeah, it will
yeah,
be yours.
exactly. Oh, here, look, we have some nice comment here. So we decided to send Switch Experience packages, 4 different styles, with all new keyboards from now on, so people could try different. Like this is really cool, because then you can actually try and see what you like, and then buy the real thing.
Yep.
But so, KU, how much do you actually? How many switches do you send? Is it like one of each?
No, four different. So yeah, one each.
So I guess it's like 240, like for 60% uh, basic layout.
No, they if you order a keyboard, they send like 4 extra switches, like let's say a linear one, a tactile one, a blue one, and
Oh yeah, and then you can just put it on and then feel it.
yeah, and then you can say, oh, okay, I'm maybe more like the tactile switch, and then get some tactile switches.
Oh, that's very interesting. It's a nice surface to do.
What I'm very interested, what is your opinion, Konstantin, of these little guys?
So yeah, for those who don't know, those are O-rings. So those are small hacks that you can put in between the PCB and the switch. So the fact of it is basically you will press the key and it will squish it. I don't like it. Mainly because I feel like one of the things um, that you come to the hobby is to get like the actual better typing experience. So get less RSI. Uh, yeah, like Lucy says, orthodontist elastic thing for the teeth. But yeah, no, I do like Mac keyboards because of the long travel. I don't like laptops because it's like really hurting your hands because you're just pressing the keys and it's like 2 or 3 millimeters of travel.
Yeah.
So doing that, it's like, yeah, you're gonna press the key, but you will stop early because you just cannot go further, but you're not used to it. So yeah, I don't like it also because the sound of it may be okay, but the experience, yeah, just gets too much of a hate.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a lot of hate going on when you talk about O-rings in the custom keyboard section.
Oh really?
Yeah. And there are some. I only have them because some keyboards send it with them, and I just put it somewhere, and I get them. I send them away for free if someone really wants to have them, because
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
no,
that's why you
I
were
don't,
asking.
I don't like them. It makes the keyboard so mushy.
Yep.
You're going into a mechanical keyboard topic, and you get your perfect keyboard, and then you're like, it's like putting running your Porsche with 2 AA batteries.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
also why
That's
you don't
interesting.
see O-rings on 3000 keyboards builds. Yeah.
I can imagine that they make it feel a little bit more like, I don't know the word, but it's not going to be like tactile or something. It's like smooshed. I can imagine it's not great.
Yeah, you also have various depth of it. I mean, those can be like quite tall or wide, but yeah, it's not like a nice experience. Yeah, I don't
Sure.
recommend it. I mean, it's great if you have. Janos is probably freezed
Oh,
at
Janos,
this point.
your battery maybe died. Oh, he's back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
welcome back.
AA batteries went
Oh
So
out.
guys,
man, the
um,
Porsche. Oh.
we actually have June, my friend June, in the chat, and he's like a keyboard wizard as well. So
So what's your keyboard
I'm
trim?
wondering. Actually, I want him to come into the stream so he can show his keyboard. But I'm gonna
Yep.
send him the link. See if he feels like showing his face. If not, we continue. But I send him the link, and if he joins, I'll put him on. Um, so let's see if I still had some other questions that I still didn't know. A
Of
lot
course,
of
you
things
have
we
some
already
questions.
went in depth. Oh, there's one really newbie question I have. What are butterfly switches?
Bad switches.
Don't just
So,
don't.
is this a butterfly switch?
I
Butterfly
think they
switch.
they are. I think they are not butterfly switches.
Yeah, butterfly switches are just like for the MacBooks. So
Okay.
as Janos showed, it's like basically just a butterfly in that way because you have like the mechanism doing that when you press on it. Yeah, it's nothing like really specific, but yeah, butterfly switch is one where you don't get a lot of height and you need to have still like a decent feedback. So you just put like some kind of spraying mechanism, but yeah.
Yeah.
You probably have a membrane on the one that you showed us.
Yeah. So I was just thinking. So then this is a membrane one. So
Looking at the, yeah, I mean,
all right, let's
probably
take it
maybe
off
type on
again.
it.
Oh wait, here's the sound. It feels
Oh,
mushy to
no,
me.
this is Kehl switch, if I'm
But
not
if you look at
mistaken.
the switch,
Oh, no, those are Alps. Okay, all right. Alps?
I think
Yeah,
they
I
are actually
guess.
Logitech specific.
Oh, no, yeah. So it's Omron G or whatever. So
Yes,
this is like some
exactly.
kind of Alps switches. So yeah, you
And both
have
super fast.
Cherry, you have Alps, you have Berkling, you have Topre. Uh, Basically, you have a huge family of switches. Alps are not that great usually. You have like, I don't know, like 15 families. Cherry is by far the most popular. It's like 90% of the market. But Alps usually are pretty bad because they are scratchy and yeah, you also need like a specific keycap to be mounted on it.
Oh wow.
And yeah, indeed, you also have some optical switches from Logitech. So this is like really, you don't feel anything. You just
It's literally
press
the
the
light
key
that goes on or off that
and
says
yeah,
yes or no, basically.
it just cuts the laser and that's all.
And so, what is a magnet
Magnetic?
switch?
Yeah, I never heard of switches like that. I've heard of maglev case. So basically, the dampening itself is just done with magnets. So this is probably the best feeling ever. But it wasn't released. I mean, not like really in a good shape as far as I saw the last time. But yeah, switches, I don't think it's feasible because you'll need quite a strong magnet to have like some feedback.
Yeah, and I can imagine after a year the magnet stops working.
Yeah,
You-
and also like if you have some hardware stuff next to your keyboard, yeah, it's maybe not the best
Yeah,
thing
you put
ever.
your credit card or your phone next to your keyboard. Bye bye.
Yeah,
yeah,
I guess.
they're like also like semi-mechanical switches, which I think it's Razer that put it into their newest boards. They are semi-mechanical, and they are
Mhm.
like, then there are the opticals, and inside of the optical switches there are some differences because Keychron made their own optical switches that you cannot interchange with other vendors. So it's if you go into the not normal mechanical switches, there are some, let's call it exotic switches, because you cannot just buy other ones, and it's very limited to what you buy at first glance.
Hmm. Yeah, like I'm looking at on Twitter now, and people are talking about the magnetic switches. Let me just show you that picture. That's really funny. Yeah, let me share my screen. So here we
Any
go.
kind of other noob question? There are no noob question. Don't worry.
Look what the guy did. Wait, I need to zoom in. There's something mechanical going on here. I don't know what's happening. Can we make it bigger? Look, there's something, but it's nothing to do with the keyboard, I think.
Yeah, it's like a magnetic
Yeah,
lid
just to keep
thing.
the lid closed, I think.
Yeah, it's like a safeguard for your children if you don't want
Yeah.
them to be on laptop for too long.
I just Googled it and they're talking about maglev keyboard.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what you meant, Lucy.
but yeah, a maglev is for the case. It's not like for the
Yeah,
switches.
exactly. So,
Maybe I'm missing something. If it's the case, sorry. My
oh,
bad.
I'm generally missing everything here because everything is new. Okay, so June asked, how often do you loop the switches? I think we just discussed, like you would do like once a year, maybe.
It depends if it's oil, grease, and yeah, of your personal preference. Um, if we can get something from this stream, it's like custom keyboard and personal preference.
Yeah,
But
as
yeah, it
everything.
depends. You can be late to the party. You'll just feel that your key is a bit more scratchy or maybe
Mm.
less smooth to be used.
Yeah.
I have to say that I didn't lube mine for a long time. I need to clean it and to lube it. I know that, but yeah, it's also like quite some work. So when you get like a weekend, it's a nice thing to do. But yeah,
Yeah.
I use So the question is also like, do I use 205 geo? I mean, I don't know how to say that.
205G0.
Yeah, so basically this is Crytox. No, I use Tribosys 3204 for my tactile ones because I'm really a tactile guy. Yeah, for example, this, if I'm not mistaken, it's an oil, so it will go faster. Yeah, it's not the same feeling, not the same effect, because when you lube, it can impact the sound, the feeling, the scratchiness, the resistance. It can, yeah, make or break your switch.
Yeah.
So I'm more of a Tribosys guy.
I normally use 205G0 for everything I loop. Only if I loop the springs in a bag, I have some spray lubricant, which is a little bit more
Yeah.
fluid than the 205G0, which is so much better because when you have all the springs inside of a bag, you just want to have it everywhere and not sticked onto a spring somewhere because it's not too fluid.
Janos, there's a comment from June, and we weren't sure we were going to talk about it, but I'm just going to put it on. Remember when we were preparing this? To see, are we going to say the word or not? There we go.
Fuck. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, so fuck is the sound of a key cap on a switch hitting the keyboard, which is in an enthusiastic keyboard environment of human beings. just to make the sentence as weird as possible. That's the sound the keyboard does, like the fuck. Like it's not a cluck, it's not a click, it's a fuck. It's just a dampened sound where you hit it and it feels like a little bit thucky. So the thuckiest I have is probably something in between this and that. So this is the Akko ACR 75 Pro, and it sounds like this.
Okay.
And then, it has speed silver switches, I guess, from Akko, the CS version. And here's the Aqua Kings V3 on the Q1 in an aluminum body.
Yeah.
Oh, that has a bit more low end to it. It seems.
And this is a little bit more fuck. So it's not the. It doesn't have to be as silent. It's not about having the most silent board, but having a sound that makes you feel comfortable. That makes any sense. So if you ask 100 people about Thok, you should also get
I keep putting
pretty
this
many answers.
Usually, if you want to get like a nice fog, you use some PBT and some really high profile, and also the case. But Those are
Yeah,
like
because
the
the
main
moment I
aspects.
went to these newer switches that I have now, these PBT ones, the sound became way better.
You mean the
Yep.
keycaps? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Sorry. Yeah.
So if you have an unlooped switch on an unmodded or mostly unmodded keyboard,
All right,
it's
let's
a
go.
tactile. So let's hear that one.
Oh boy, that sounds more like my keyboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also like the spacebar and any kind of modifier is
Oh, but
yeah,
it
it's
even
still
changes
okay.
some.
That's the
Uh,
only thing I modded on this board is the
oh,
spacebar.
okay, okay. Because I thought, oh, I've seen worse than this one, but yeah,
Okay, so
my oh
so you put
what?
some stuff in it, literally, to
I
make it sound better.
normally, I put weight and sound dampening in my keyboards by using alubutyl, which is normally a sound
Sounds a little
dampening.
German.
It's a sound dampening aluminum kind of gum or rubber that you normally put into your car to dampen the sound.
Mm.
So, and they are sold in mats, and you can really use it for everything. So I make my spacebar a little bit heavier with it, and also less hollow.
Okay, we're gonna do
There
the
are
test.
also people who like to put
What about
heavier
this one?
switches on the
Oh,
spacebar. Are you this kind of guy?
No, I use the same
Okay,
switches on all of my on like one
yeah,
board, one switch type. Nothing
okay.
more.
oh, so you could even change the switches
Yep.
up between the different keys just to make
Yeah,
it feel better.
you
Yeah.
can have heavier ones on the top or maybe on the spacebar or on the modifiers. I do have that on some of my keyboards. It's pretty nice
Holy
because you
moly!
get more resistance, and that way you also know like which key you are hitting, and it also helps fat fingers because if the key is harder to press, you can mess it um, less easier. So yeah, it's pretty nice.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
normally when you are into gaming, you have like your WASD with a
Yeah.
different switch style or something like that. Then you can like
Yeah.
you do not have to look onto your board to feel where you are.
All right. So next noob question: which keyboard is the best for games?
No answer.
I know, but that's why I asked it.
I mean, define the game first off, because
Oh
for
yeah.
example, for
Let's.
an FPS, doesn't really matter that much.
Okay. Okay.
But for an RTS, for example, StarCraft, you probably don't want something like too linear and too fast, I think.
Okay.
But for example, if you play, I don't know, if you're a pleb and you don't have an arcade thing, but you still play, I don't know, Street Fighter, yeah, you'll probably want something like blazing fast, like
Yeah.
30
Exactly.
grams.
Low travel, really
Yeah,
fast.
that
But
way
that would
you
almost be
just
like
break
an
your
optical
fingers,
thing, right? Where
but
it's
it's
just on
fast.
or off.
Yeah. Or maybe like optical laser
Yeah.
switches, but you also don't get any kind of feedback if your key is pressed. So
And so if I just play Battlefield on my PC, it doesn't actually matter at all.
I mean, if you play it in front of your TV with an Xbox controller, yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, no, sure. Yeah, but for
But
example, I remember I played a game with this, and that's because this feels good. It's fast. But then I had this one for a while, and these switches are really hard to press. It's really heavy,
yeah,
and this is slow as heck. So when I tried to play with this, I had to really get used to like having to really press my WASD stuff.
you also have some other limitations. For example, N key rollover, which is like basically you cannot like press too much key which are aligned on the same PCB line.
Mhm.
You,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, I mean the custom keyboards are pretty much without it because they are well made. But for example, the gaming keyboards usually have some kind of limitations on that.
Hmm.
But let's say that the hardware doesn't really matter for gaming. It's more
Yeah,
like your game knowledge. It's
of
not
course.
because you have like 10 milliseconds or 15 milliseconds of ping that it will like, oh man, I just lost because of my connection.
No,
It's
I
like the
think that's
usual
more back in the day. That was more
excuse.
important than now.
Yeah.
Like I
It's also
remember.
if you have like the fastest keyboard and you use it over Bluetooth with five
Yeah,
other Bluetooth
delay
devices
Yeah.
crazy.
around, only using Bluetooth 4, Bluetooth 3. uh, your keyboard can be as fast as it is, but if the connection is not stable, I was
Yeah.
I was once always on Bluetooth keyboards, and then 2.4 gigahertz keyboards, yeah. But now I am all wired because I don't want to mess around with batteries or
Same.
any connection issues. So I have a wire on it, and that's it. Yeah,
And it just works. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yes, I
have
remember.
everything
Sorry,
wired on my side. Really, everything.
you're also doing a wire.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just using Wi-Fi, but otherwise, all my devices, mouse. I mean, I do have a wired Xbox controller. This is pretty annoying because it wears out pretty quickly. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 years already, but yeah, it's not like super sturdy. But this is pretty much the only thing that I consider being wireless on my desktop.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
June says in the chat, I have the coolest black guitar. Thank you.
you probably do. You might want to show it.
The Ovation, this one, yeah.
Yeah, these ovations are great. They play really, really well.
Ovation 12 string. Yeah, a whole other topic. But talking
Yeah,
about
if you want to
wired,
talk about guitars, I can say many things, but let's not do that because our stream will be all night.
yeah,
I don't have any guitars. Damn.
yeah. But if you like a whole other topic when we talk about wiring and keyboards, that's also something different because then we're talking about coiled cables and everything. So that's also a
Oh, we have a whole
whole other
cable
game
game.
where you have your custom coiled cables that are like, if you say the Q2 is expensive, I have cables that are as expensive as the whole board that you just wanted to
Oh
buy.
no.
Yeah, my partner did that for Animal Crossing also, because if you don't get the cable, you are not a real fan, you know? But there are also people who are doing their own cable because it's cheaper and you can get something more custom or more sturdy. But you also need to be pretty decent at soldering and knowing what you're doing because you can short things pretty quickly. But it's also pretty fun. There are a lot of people doing that for computer PSUs. For example, if you want to get some custom braided, colorful cables, which are not like too long, so you just cut it long enough
Yeah, like
for it
exactly
being
proper. Yeah.
like curving into your motherboard. So yeah, this is also like whole hobby, and there is like a channel explaining how to do that. Linux Tech Tips also did that. So yeah,
I've done
as I
that my
told
whole
you,
life with all my guitar cables. They're all custom made because otherwise they just like I was on tour. Like I didn't go to school and I played music. And then you always go to like these crappy bars and stuff. And people stand on your cables, they break,
Mhm.
they roll cars over them. And so I just made my own. And nowadays, um, do we still have connection or maybe it's on my end?
No,
Am I still there?
everything's okay
yeah,
right
Oh,
now.
okay, on my end, I see you guys frozen. Anyways, so what we have in the guitar world is you can actually have these, you can solderless cable management basically. You can make cables and just pressing them together, and these cables are basically the strongest ever. I wonder if that can also work with keyboards because it's much easier.
Yeah, yeah. When we talk about USB-C and USB 3.3.1,
Yeah, it might
it's a
be a
little
bit
bit different. We
specific.
have guys
Yeah,
have five wires. That's
yeah.
why many custom cable makers that are doing it by hand are still referring to USB 3 or
3.1 or 3.2
USB
or
2
whatever crappy
or
name.
even 2. Yeah.
So we have another question. So what is an aviator split?
That's what I just showed. So
yep,
basically you have like a USB-C type on one end.
Yeah. Oh yeah, focus. It focuses on your eyes. There we go.
Focus. Yeah, I didn't activate the product focus. So this is the USB-C,
Yeah.
and this is an aviator connector.
Oh, wow.
So you just put, where's the cable of it? Right. So you have another part of the cable where you can say, okay, I need it that long because it has to go from my PC to somewhere. This is a USB type A.
Yeah.
two aviator. This is male, right? Male and female. And so you just can put it together, and there are different styles of aviator connections. But so this part lies on your desk, and if you want to switch this part, you just have to unplug the aviator connector and get your other cable, because you switch boards and the cutter scheme
needs to have the right color
doesn't
scheme.
match your desk, which is
Oh,
awkward.
Oh boy. So I'm now going to have to buy a nice cable as well. Okay. That's kind of fun though.
Yeah, I also forget the name. I always forget the name of this one because you have the aviator one, which is like the usual one. Now you can even find it on Amazon, but there is also so I cannot really paste it. Oh damn. But there is also like this thin one. I always forget the name. I'll send the Etsy link in the chat.
Yeah, I can just put it in the chat and we can, if you want, I can
So
open it and share my screen.
Do you mean that one?
no, not this one. I like check the one that I've sent on YouTube. This is called Aviator here, but this is not Aviator. This is like another name.
I think I might have a little delay in whenever the chat is coming in. So, but you could send it in the private
Oh,
chat
yeah.
at
Sorry.
StreamYard if you want.
Yep, here you go. Because this is not Aviator. This is not Lipo or Mipo, or I forget the name of that one, but this one is super sexy, but it's even more expensive.
Okay,
yeah.
so let me just zoom that in a little for the audience to see.
I always forget the name, but so yeah, basically here the connector is not like 5-pin. It's like those small with the 2 red dots that you can see on the third image, for example. Yeah, it's pretty nice also because that way you don't hit any kind of thing, because I like Aviator, but it's also like quite heavy. And for example, if you unplug it and you have your monitors or I don't know your stuff, if you just you can break stuff with it because it's pretty heavy and it's like wall metal. So, but this one is also super nice.
This is very cool, dude.
Yep, I forgot the name, so sorry.
Look at this. This is a whole keyboard price.
But you mean that Konstantin is this one, right?
I guess
Because it's just plugging in together with this little.
It looks
so
quite
what's
similar,
the name
actually.
of this one?
It looks similar.
Yeah. What's the name of this one? I mean, I never had one yet.
Cable.
but-
It's called Cable.
No, there is a name for that one.
I know, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot. Those kind of things are sometimes a bit hard to Google. But yeah. Oh yeah, and thanks, Lucia. I didn't knew that you couldn't post links on YouTube if you're
No,
not
same
allowed.
for here. We're learning something from Lucy. That's nice.
Perfect.
She live streams a lot with Prismic, so.
Yeah, she's more used to it, I guess.
So I'm wondering, like what Lucy said, like when are we gonna have keyboard plugs with XLRs?
Oh, that would be nice. That would be nice.
It's
Yeah, but
already feasible.
You have
Somebody
3
achieved that.
connections, so I don't think you can do it. It's a ground and a plus and a minus.
Yeah, but you can still hack it on the receiver or the other end. For me, it's feasible because you don't really need all 5 of them, I think. Yeah,
I think it
Oh.
should work.
yeah. I saw that one on Reddit one day, so yeah, it's probably feasible.
Yeah.
And I will not be surprised, like, if it was feasible. For example, one day I've checked some people doing like some really...
Look, there it is.
Yeah, this one's pretty nice. Oh, and also it's like teal. It's like super beautiful.
But it's mini XLR. It's not real XLR.
Yeah, but it's cuter, so...
Look,
yeah,
this is
it's all
decent.
good. Yeah,
That's
especially in black, where it's matte. Yeah, it's perfect.
I think I need to buy something like that.
You need to be sponsored.
Yeah. Okay. So who can be sponsored here? Who's this? SwiftCables.net.
All right, is it a German company?
I have no idea. Can we see
That's
that?
also weird when we talk about group buys and keycaps. It's almost always GMK.
What does that mean?
And GMK is a company from Germany, and
Yeah.
they do the production of these custom keycaps that are mostly inside of the group buys or part of
Most
the
of them.
of the group buys. But the weirdest thing is that they are produced in Germany, then sent to the United States,
Yeah.
where they are sent by Drop or some other companies again to Germany, and you pay all the taxes and all the customs onto
Oh,
it.
no. So how
And
about
like
this?
exported and then re-imported, and it's even more expensive than just buying it here in Germany.
Yeah,
That's
that's why
crazy.
living in Europe, but outside of Germany is nice because you just get the proxy, but you don't pay
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
the taxes.
I don't know what this is, but it looks pretty fancy.
I think this is
This
the big one that I had here. Yeah,
Yeah, so here you have two things. You have the inner one, which is just like basically red and gray, and then you
Yeah.
have a layer on top of it. So I forgot the name of those two, but the the transparent one on top of it is especially to protect it.
Hmm.
As I told you before, you can create your own. So you can get like just the cable, or you can get something around it to
Yeah, yeah,
be
yeah.
more sturdy. So
Wait, this is pretty cool.
yep.
Okay,
this is,
my
this
my
is something.
wish list for my birthday is growing the whole time.
Yeah, like on this one, I have like that's a white cable, and
Oh,
there's
and you put something around it?
a black net around it, so it makes it a little bit
Wow.
grayish and it looks awesome.
Oh, it does. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's just a fancy way to do anything with USB cables. That's what it is.
It's still connected to a standard USB-C on, and it does nothing more than connecting the keyboard to your Mac or PC.
The customization, man.
It's all about
Customization.
customization.
The theming of your brand,
Yeah,
This
like
is the biggest thing.
on my personal website, I chose at one point to do this branding stuff because why not? And I worked
Yep.
at agencies my whole career, so we always had to do this branding stuff. So now I think there's two things left: a custom keyboard that's branded towards what I like, and then a VS Code theme to
Yeah.
my colors. And then I think I have reached maximum penetration of my brand.
There are people who have taken inspiration from Sarah Dressner's Night
Yeah,
Owl, and which
I
is
have
pretty
that one
nice as
running. It's
daughter.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, but this is also great, like if you want to customize your own thing. Um,
Yeah, it's a good
because
start. The one that she made is
yeah,
really good.
it's
Okay,
pretty
so
explanatory on what it does and how you can update it. So yeah,
mm,
it's pretty nice.
we also need branded cables.
Yeah, we need conference cables. Like you go to a conference as a speaker, and then you get like I don't know, Vue.js London cable.
I am kind of up
There
for
is
that.
one in Germany soon, so we probably
Yeah,
need to get
October
some
5, right?
cables.
Yeah, exactly. Very interesting. So I'm gonna need a custom keyboard, custom cable, and a custom VS Code theme that looks like my colors.
And
Then I
then you
hope
need and then you need your custom can holder for your 0.5
I have
liter.
to. The
And you
thing is,
also need
though,
some custom keycaps. Don't forget that those are
mm,
like the most important. The
so
color scheme and
exactly. So are there things that exist like what is the name? A company like Printful that does kind of like drop shipping related things. Like this hat was sent to me by Content.ai. It's a headless CMS, and they just made this in Printful, made the hat custom, and then send it out close to the user. Right. So I live in France, so it was sent from Germany, I think. But if you live in Australia, it's sent from Japan.
yeah.
If they had this for keyboards where you can kind of just customize your own thing, that would be so cool. So much
There's
easier.
actually a company in Germany where you can do this. You can upload your own SVG to the keycaps, and you have your fully printed ABS. It's not PPT, but fully printed, photorealistic ABS keycap set. That's exactly what you want.
I think I've seen one on Etsy where you can actually put the picture of your dog over your whole keyboard, so all the keycaps have like part of the dog. That could be fun. There's so many options here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do we have any more questions that I had? Because I'm becoming quite saturated with all the information. I'm going to have to.
Lever just said, I hope you have the custom bank account for that already. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to have to
Definitely
get
one.
some sponsors from my Buy Me a Coffee or my GitHub sponsorships. Then I'll buy keyboards with that one.
You can do an OnlyFans and sell pictures of your feet or something like that.
Oh no! You know what? I might say that, but there's probably a market for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Like Dutch guys living in France with beards, OnlyFans kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
maybe I can do an
we
OnlyFans
always
where I
come back
speak
to
French
France.
but badly. Maybe that's the
Now we're getting off track.
no. Lucy's bringing it back. Only caps.
All right, by the domain name.
Onlycaps.awesome. I don't think I have another question. Like I had a question here that's like, what is TKL? But I think we covered that kind of.
It's 10 kilos.
Exactly.
Basically smaller than full size and bigger than 60%.
So maybe as a last one, what are all the different sizes? Oh shit, that was a stupid question.
You
Maybe.
have 100%, 90, 80, 75, 70, 65, 60, 40, 27, and even 15%. But this is more
96, and you have 96, 98 also. There's some
I have a
weird.
96,
So
which was not a
basically
good
you have
choice. But also
50 of
everything.
them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
200%.
These are big keys.
What's this one?
I saw one guy sent a picture into my community where it's like 4 keyboards at once, like from the amount of switches, and he has a special blog article where he describes every single purpose of the switch and why he uses it. So he's
maybe
coding,
he's
he's
right?
cutting videos and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and he uses every single switch for a single purpose.
So there's this one guy. He used to be the video editor for Linus Tech Tips, which was like it's a YouTube channel that has like 10 million.
I know who
So-
you're talking about.
What's his
Saw
name?
that video. Saw
The
that video.
editor, yeah.
And he has a macro for everything, and he has like 6 keyboards, and then he has all these separate like keypads with like the 10 keys on it and the numbers and stuff. And he used it like when you see him edit, like I think a few years ago there was like him versus another
Yeah, it's
YouTuber that
Taron. Yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Lucy. I always forget his name.
and
Yep.
yeah, Darren, yes, exactly. And so it was him versus iJustine, who is like an Apple type YouTuber lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he was about 16 times faster in the edit than her, and they did the same kind of thing. Because he just
Yeah, but at
he
the same
ripped
time,
through it with
she
all-
was using Final Cut Pro, so the
Yeah,
export
and like a
was
mouse.
blazing fast.
yeah.
No, but I mean, what he's doing is okay. He's also using some mods for Windows, where basically
yeah.
you can replicate what QMK is doing, but more on a software level. So
Yeah.
it means that basically you'll get macros per program or software, so you can get faster.
Whoa.
But, oh
What is-
man.
What is this? Wait, let me make that a bit
That's
bigger.
the board I was talking about.
This is one keyboard.
This is one keyboard, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
shit.
for LAN. If you have 3 friends who want to play all together, you just put
Yeah,
that
you can-
for-
He can either type all the letters on these 2 parts or in the middle, and has all the macros all around it. So basically it's one keyboard, 2 keyboards for normal typing, and then all the other stuff around it. So it depends on the way or the software he uses. If he does like the split typing, that's another
Oh,
board.
you're moving. Oh, be careful, man.
No. So it depends. He can like type on these 2 and have all the macros all around it, or he focuses on just typing here, like text and stuff,
Yeah.
and then he has the normal keyboard layout.
Maybe he just
Yeah.
plays Flight Simulator or something.
Oh
No,
you
I
you
think
can
no.
just take your chair, move it, offset it a bit to the right, and then you have the wall Excel expert, type of keyboard, and then
Guys, this
yep,
is too fancy. So thank you so much. We're reaching the 2 hour mark, which is probably not even a long time to talk about keyboards. I guess
yep.
if you guys are between you, you can talk for 5 hours about specific lubing and springs and stuff, but I don't know enough. So thank you for letting me ask my complicated questions or my simple questions. I
Yeah,
learned a
sure.
lot.
You're
I'm
welcome.
actually ready to now build my own. And so I already have a date with June, who was in the chat here, to do a keyboard build together. Um,
When
but
is it?
yeah, I need to talk to him to see what is the best way,
Okay.
because I need to actually buy the stuff, get the right things, and then it shouldn't be a 16-hour stream because I have to loop every little thing, right? So we need to kind of
Yeah,
match it
maybe
out.
loop them ahead of time. It will be
Exactly.
more interesting. This is
Yeah.
what usually streamers do. They have
And
it
if you want
scheduled
to
already.
check out videos about custom keyboards, there are a few really, really nice ones or really, really good channels that you can check out, like Teha Types.
Yep.
He's probably one of the most known custom keyboard
Yep.
builders. Then there's
Mhm.
Wildcat.
Yeah. Also.
Wildcat, I don't even is he or she? I don't even know because you only see hands. I think it's a
Doesn't
he.
actually matter, right? It's fine.
It's a human
Yeah,
being.
yeah,
As I
exactly.
said.
All good.
Yeah, but like Teha Types, Wildcat. Then there's Alex Sotos. Alex Sotos,
Yeah.
you find him on Twitch, and he's doing many build streams where he just builds keyboards for his customers. So those three, I guess, are really nice to see and just check out
And
different switch types and stuff.
also, when you'll start watching those three, then you'll notice that basically you have 50 more and 200 more, and yeah, it will be like exponential. And yeah,
But Janos, we should also put in yours in the chat. Maybe I can put it in the chat because I'm owning the channel. What is your? Do you have like a short link to your YouTube channel?
It's /Janos minus Kehl. Yeah.
Oh, that's easy enough. Let me just put that in. Let me see. Oh, I'm bad at typing. Maybe I'm basically just lost. Whatever keyword I make or get.
Yeah, but it's a minus, not an underscore. No,
Oh,
you
no.
typed it wrong.
I knew it.
No.
it's still okay.
Is it working?
Yeah. It's
Oh, there's
working.
redirects going on. Actually, this one also works.
Oh wow. Wait, you can type it without a minus?
It redirects to this.
Wow. Maybe because I'm too famous.
Yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
must be it.
yeah. You can just like get.
Oh, you can
this,
just
yeah.
put the name on it. Oh, that's perfect.
Prime
Okay.
Days. 2 Tage,
Wait.
mehr oder weniger bis.
And you know what?
Okay.
I watched the
It's
video
good
for
of
the
you the other
German
day,
stream.
and
It
the
works.
content was so much fun. I understood German directly.
Yeah. But I also have some videos with typing tests. So if you just want to hear the sound of a modded or unmodded keyboard, you can also check it out for sure.
Oh, that's cool. Konstantin, do you have something you want to share to the audience, even though it's not that many people now? But
Not for as of right now. No, I'll probably share it on Twitter at some point, but
yeah, sure.
nothing related. I mean, I have my blog post about how to build a keyboard, so I can maybe share that one.
Yeah, if you can put it in the chat here, I'll put it in the public chat.
If some people are interested into building their own, it's like quite old.
But it's quite
yeah.
timeless, right? This stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that like the quality of the pictures and so on is not like the best. But yeah, it's still relevant as of today.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, looking at it, it's quite unacceptable. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and also like it was it's also like a not so expensive one. I'm talking about the price and also how you can make it cheaper, and yeah.
Nice. Oh, but you go in depth. It's really nice. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. This was great. Thank you for your time. 2 hours of your day talking about keyboards, which is probably a pretty good pastime, to be honest. Next time, maybe we have a drink with it. Thanks again.
Yeah, that way you know what to do on your weekend.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research on what kind of keycaps I want and what kind of switches. Like I have the browns now, and
Yeah,
Oh,
but the browns.
oh, oh.
Oh,
tell me what color should I go for? What is like blue is more clicky, right?
Nah, I would not think about colors, because when you go into the custom also keys or switch topic, it's not about the color. Just look for if you go to linear, tactile, or clicky. Like clicky is the really loud click normally.
Yeah.
Tactile is a really like a bump in between top and bottom out. There's a bump in between. This tactile, and linear is like what it says, linear, like from top to bottom, straight through. And then there's all the different in betweens of where's the actuation point. Does the spring even have like two different strengthness points on it? Is it like weaker on the top and stronger in the bottom, and everything? So
Okay, this is for next stream perhaps because it feels like we can actually dive into that.
yeah, definitely.
All right,
I'll just go to a meetup in September.
maybe that's better, right?
Yeah.
Just try it.
My community is also organizing some meetups. So there's one happening in the north of Germany, and I think it's next week. In 4 weeks, they are doing something in Karlsruhe, which is more to the south of Germany.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
And I am in the process of reinstalling a whole conference of keyboards in Germany, because there was one until 2018 and there's nothing now. But I have so many manufacturers right now like closer to me, so I can ask them to also show their stuff and maybe make a talk or speech about it. So there might be something coming.
That's very interesting. But Konstantin, the one in Paris is September 1st, you said?
3rd.
Okay. Let
Yeah,
me see if that's enough for me to go, because I still have a storage unit in Paris that needs to be emptied because it's too expensive. So who knows? Maybe I can make a trip.
Yeah. And also, it's like the whole day, and you also can get some prices. I mean, last time I went there, we had to pick like a random number, and I won. So it's like, yeah, if you want to go back at home with like a keycap or a T-shirt or whatever, yeah, it's
Nice.
also nice if you're a bit
Exactly.
lucky.
Why not? All right, that's a nice way to end. Thank you guys so much. This was great. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Nice evening. Yeah.